السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. So now Imam Hasan alayhi salam is sitting next to his father's deathbed during the month of Ramadan on the 40th year of the Hijrah, or after the Hijrah. On that night, Imam Ali alayhi salam had a very close and intimate conversation with his eldest son, Imam Al-Hassan. Imam Ali stood way before the dawn, and he decided to go to the mosque on that night. Apparently, Imam Ali alayhi salam had a sleepless night. He spent that night in adoration, supplication, prayers. And every now and then he will go out to watch the stars in the skies. When he stood to leave, there were a number of geese in the house which belonged to Imam Hasan alayhi salam. So they started screaming. Imam Hasan alayhi salam woke up and he realized that something unusual is happening. So he saw his father trying to leave the house much earlier than every day. Imam Hasan alayhi salam said, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله صوائح تتبعها نوائح. These screams are soon going to be followed by sobbings. Imam Ali came to the door. The door is not that big. It has been made from the trunks of the trees. That door refused to open for him. It was reluctant. So Imam Ali has to dislodge the door that night. And he started reciting, أشدد حيازيمك للموت فإن الموت لاقيك. Prepare yourself, get dressed, get ready to face death, because death is meeting with you soon. ولا تجزع من الموت إذا حل بناديك. Do not be distressed of death if death lands into your courtyard. كما أضحكك الدهر كذاك الدهر يبكيك. This life has moments of happiness as well as moments of sadness. And of course that night was a night of happiness for Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali was searching and waiting for that night. متى يبعث أشقاها فيخضب لحيتي من دم رأسي. When does that time come? When this man who's supposed to murder me arrives and ultimately drenches my beard from the blood of my head. He was waiting. Meta, when? So Imam Hasan alayhi salam turns to his father Imam Ali and he says to him, Father, you are too early for the mosque this morning. It's not the time. Imam Ali answered him, yes, son, this is not the normal time. But I saw a dream. So Imam Hasan said, what is the interpretation of this dream? The father answered him that I saw a dream, and if the interpretation is right, فَإِنَّ أَبَاكَ مَقْتُولٌ. Your father is going to leave soon. وَلَا يَبْقَى بِمَكَّةَ وَلَا الْمَدِينَةِ إِلَّا دخله ولا يبقى بيت بمكة ولا المدينة. No house or no household would remain in these two cities of Mecca and Medina إلا ودخله الهم والحزن من أجلي. But they're going to mourn, they're going to be sad for my departure. Imam Hasan was shocked. He was disturbed. He said to his father, then why do you go to the mosque? Stay. And when does that going to be? When is that happening? Imam Ali answered him with a Quranic verse in Surah Luqman, chapter 31, verse 34. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا. No soul knows what it will earn tomorrow. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ. And no soul knows in what land it will die. That is the best answer from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. He did not say to him today, because this is the Quranic answer. Only God knows. There are some indications, but the ultimate answer lies with God. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ بِأَيِّ أَرْضٍ تَمُوتُ. But then Imam Ali continued on a hadith that he heard from his sweetheart, his teacher, his mentor, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. ولكن عهد عهده إلي حبيبي رسول الله. It was a promise made to me by my sweetheart, the messenger of God. أنه يكون في العشر الأواخر من شهر رمضان. My departure is going to be during the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan. يقتلني, and he knows the murderer, Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam. And the murderer is going to be Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam. Imam Hasan said to his father, then if you know, if this is the case, فَاقْتُلْهِ. إِذَا عَلِمْتَ ذَلِكَ فَاقْتُلْهِ. What are you waiting for? You know he's your enemy and he's going to murder you. Why don't you kill him? Imam Ali answered his son, Bunay, my son, لا يجوز القصاص قبل الجناية. No retribution is allowed before the crime itself. A lesson we learn from Imam Ali alayhi salam. And then Imam Ali turned to his son Imam Hasan and he said to him, I put you to oath that you go back to your room, you go back to your bed and don't follow me and let me go by myself. A few hours later, Imam Hasan could not sleep that night. He was worried about his father. He's 37 years old. He's the oldest son in the family. So he heard the scream, قتل علي المرتضى قتل ابن عم المصطفى. Ali al-Murtada has been murdered. The first cousin of the Prophet has been killed. So he rushed. He was the very first one to reach the mosque. Not a long distance between the house, the residence, and the mosque. It would be no more than 30 meters or 40 meters at most. Imam Hasan alayhi salam reached the sanctuary, the mihrab, and he sees his father bleeding. And his face, his beard was drenched with his blood. While Imam Hasan was looking at his father during that difficult time, Imam Ali alayhi salam turns to his son and he says, Bunayya Hasan, you lead the prayers, continue the prayers, the jama'ah prayers, the congregational prayers. So Imam Hasan led the prayers. Imam Ali continued his prayers while he was bleeding, but he could not stand anymore. When Imam Hasan concluded his prayers, imagine what sort of prayers that was. Very painful. Standing in the place of his father. Where his father used to stand 5 times a day. Now the son is standing there, replacing his wounded and bleeding father. Immediately, he took the head of his father into his lap. He cuddled him, he hugged him, he kissed him. He said, "Father, who did this to you?" Imam Ali said to him, "This is Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam." Few minutes later, Abdul Rahman was captured and brought back to the mosque, and he stood before Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam said to him, "لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا إِدًّا وَأَمْرًا عَظِيمًا." You committed a very gross error and sin. أَلَمْ أُشْفِقْ عَلَيْكَ وَأُقَدِّمُكَ عَلَى غَيْرِكَ فِي الْعَطَاءِ. Didn't I have mercy upon you? Didn't I myself serve you and gave you more than what you deserve? أَفَتُجَازِينِي بِهَذَا الْجَزَاءِ. This is how you return the favor to me, by murdering me? And then Imam Ali alayhi salam immediately turned to his son Hassan. He said to him, "Bunayya Hassan, irfiq bi asirik, warhamhu washfiq alayh." Be lenient with Abdul Rahman ibn Muljam. Be lenient with him. Have mercy on him and have affection for him. So Imam Hasan turned to his father. He said to him, "Father, ya abatah, qatalaka hadha al-la'in wa faja'ana bik." This cursed man murdered you and he bereft us of you. وَأَنْتَ تَأْمُرُنَا بِالرِّفْقِ بِهِ. And you are still commanding us to be lenient with him, to be merciful to him. Imam Ali alayhi salam answered. His son, Imam Hasan, said to him, "Ya bunay, نحن أهل بيت الرحمة والمغفرة." Indeed, we are the household, the family of mercy and forgiveness. أطعمه مما تأكل واسقه مما تشرب. Give him the same food that you eat, the same drink that you drink from. فإن أنا مت فاقتص منه ضربة بضربة. If I survive, then I know what to do with him. And I might forgive him because forgiveness is our quality and our character. But if I die, then you are the guardian of the blood. If you decide to murder him, then with one strike, no more than that. وَلَا تُمَثِّلْ بِهِ. Do not disfigure him, because apparently at that time, when they take revenge from a murderer, not only they murder him and kill him, but they disfigure him. Sometimes dismember him. This is what Hind, the mother of Muawiyah, did to Hamza, the uncle of the Prophet, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, Sayyid al-Shuhada, in the Battle of Uhud. She completely dismembered him, amputated his fingers, his arms, his ears. That was the tradition at that time. Imam Ali said to his son, "Never ever do this to him." Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "Don't even dismember an animal or even a dog. Don't do that, let alone a human being." فنحن أهل البيت لا نزداد على المذنب إلينا إلا عفوا وكرما. Imam Ali is saying to his son, to his son Hassan alayhi salam, we are the family of the Prophet. We would not do for the one who hurt us but goodness and forgiveness and generosity. This is how we return their sin. This is how we return their crime. This family is a special family. It's unlike any other family. And it stands out through their akhlaq and manners and forgiveness. Imam Hasan alayhi salam was shocked and saddened. With eyes filled with tears, turned to his father and he said, Ya Abba, O father, man lana ba'dak, who is going to be there for us after you? You are our leader, our refuge, our counselor. إن مصابنا بك مثل مصابنا برسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Our tragedy by losing you, our pain, our suffering of losing you resembles the pain we endured during the departure of our beloved grandfather, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Ali alayhi salam hugged his son Hassan and he said to him, Ya bunay. Beautiful conversation between the father and the son at the most difficult time, when the father is bleeding, when the father is about to die. He was struck with a fatal blow into his head. So Imam Ali says to his son, Ya bunay, أسكن الله قلبك الصبر. May God fill your heart with perseverance and patience. وعظم أجرك وأجر إخوتك. And may God increase your reward and his bounties upon you and your siblings. At that time, Imam Ali was transferred to his house, to his bed. Imam Hasan gathered some doctors in the city of Kufa. Among them, a famous doctor by the name of Athir ibn Amr al-Sakuni. So he examined the Imam. Imam refused to be examined because he knows the Prophet told him what will happen. The Prophet told him the details of what will happen to him. So Imam Ali, he knew what will happen to him. He knew that he's going to go through these steps. These are his last moments and last hours. But because his daughter Zainab insisted that they should bring a doctor. So they did. When he examined the Imam, he said to him with a halting voice, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, i'hid ahdak wa awsi wasiyatak. O the commander of the faithfuls, write your will and tell your family, your loved ones, your last statements. Imam Hasan, when he heard this, he said, Abatah kasarta dhahri. O my father Ali, my backbone is broken now. كيف أستطيع أن أراك بهذه الحالة? How can I afford seeing you with this condition? And the sword was poisoned. So now the poison is running through the blood of the Imam. His face, his body is swollen. But Imam Ali alayhi salam, during these difficult moments of pain, did not forget to speak to his Lord. He said, Ilahi, as'aluka murafaqata al-anbiya'i wal-awsiya. O my Lord, all what I am asking you is your forgiveness and to allow me to be in the company of the prophets and the successors to the prophets. And then he turned to his son Hassan alayhi salam, saying to him, Ya bunay, O my son Hassan, ma hadha al-buka? Why these tears? لا خوف ولا جزع على أبيك بعد اليوم. There is no fear for your dad after today. No, don't feel sorry for your dad after today. No more suffering for him after today. Then he said, اليوم ألقى جدك محمد المصطفى وجدتك خديجة الكبرى وأمك الزهراء فلا بأس عليك يا بني لا تبكي. I'm so happy because I'm going to go and be reunited with your grandfather the Prophet, with your grandmother Khadija alayhi salam, and with your mother Fatima. So please, Hassan, do not cry. And then Imam Ali said to him, Bunayya Hassan, أنت تقتل بالسم أنت تقتل بالسم وأخوك الحسين يقتل بالسيف. Your ultimate departure from this life would be through poison. You're going to be poisoned, and your brother Hussein is going to be killed by the sword. And then Imam Ali alayhi salam spent the few moments of his life admonishing and advising and giving his last will to his children. أوصيكما بتقوى الله وأن لا تبغيا الدنيا وإن بغتكما ولا تأسفا على شيء منها زوي عنكما. Powerful statements which we're going to reflect upon in the next session, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.